We got to talk about what's next for Christian, because after this tag team, he does find himself becoming a single star again. And what's interesting is the way it all comes to be. He takes a few months off and then he returns with a little bit of a rub from The Rock before he declares himself the new People's Champion. He starts referring to his fans as the Peeps.
Yeah.
And listen, I think this was fun and entertaining, but it's been said that, especially when we start this singles run for Christian here, that his biggest opponent may not have been folks we saw in the ring, but Vince himself. There's lots of silly stories out there that, he wanted Christian's face to be covered with a blue dot and things like that. Yeah. Do you remember, for whatever reason, Vince just not being a Christian guy?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of absurd because Christian deserved more time. He could help us. He could help. He could work with these guys that were less talented than him, and make them look good. I think Vince's issue with Christian was Christian's physique. He's not a big guy. He's always in great shape, but he's not a big guy. And Vince, has these hard-ons for big guys, big teams more often than not. When you look back, we're talking about Booker T and Goldust. They're two big guys. Booker T 6'3", Goldust 6'4" or 5. So Vince had this love affair with size. He's always had it. When I got to answer a question, I didn't know Rey Mysterio was that small. Well, yeah, he's always been small. He didn't shrink in a dryer. He's always been small. But he's also one of the best workers in the world, bar none, at any size. Same thing, Chris Jericho. I brought Jericho to Vince's house for a meeting because I was recruiting him heavy and hard. And, if anybody heard Vince say, well, I didn't realize Jericho was, 5'10" or under 6 feet, shall we say, they would then jump on that bandwagon and be likewise. And so I got some pushback from some of the office guys that were involved, that they thought Jericho was too short and too small and too this and too that, but he wasn't. He became one of the biggest stars in wrestling history, and he's still going. Jericho's still going. When you see him on AEW, you see good work. You see a smart program. He gets to book his own stuff more often than not. And well, I'm sure glad we got him, because I've said many times, arguably, over the last 2 or 3 years, he's been kind of the MVP of AEW, because he stayed in place. He stayed there, and he built his brand. And now his brand is very strong. It's a main event brand. When you see Jericho, you just don't look away, because something's going to happen, and it's going to come out of his mind. He'd make a great booker, no doubt about it in my mind.
Did you hear the stories about the blue dot? Is that real? The rumor and innuendo?
Yeah, it's real. It's stupid. How do you record that? How do you, he's going to be moving. Can you move the blue dot and keep it over his face? I don't think so. It was just something Vince thought of, maybe while he's lifting weights or something. Hell, I don't know, looking at himself in the mirror. But yeah, it was absurd. How are we going to do that? And why are we going to do that? And what else can we do to emasculate Christian? That's my question. I don't know, unfair.
Do you think Christian knew at the time that Vince had a hard on for him?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's probably looking for a place to go, a landing strip. And yeah, it was unnecessary, to be honest with you. Completely unnecessary. I'm trying to show my OU here.
So, Jim, now that we've got Christian back in a singles run, he gets a little bit of a rub from the People's Champ. He calls himself the new People's Champ.
Yeah.
He's got his peeps, and he's actually used to work with Goldberg some in his early WWE run, including even a cage match on Raw. Like when you've got a new guy you're trying to get over, like a Goldberg, who maybe is a little rusty.
All right.
Not like he's had as much in-ring experience as some other folks in the business. And you want to make sure that, hey, he's making a good first impression. Man, looking for a guy like Christian to take care of business, because that's really what this is. It's not just let's make Goldberg look good, but let's make the promotion look good. Christian can be that guy, can he not?
Absolutely. That's what I say, and I got to come up with a better slogan or a better choice of words. That's what happens when you get a guy that can work. He can work with Goldberg. He can work with Rock, top guys. He can make a top guy like Goldberg, who, like you said, was rusty and never a great worker. He was an attraction, and he was a great attraction, but he was a little rough around the edges. So you put a guy like Christian in there that can make him look better and protect him. Key word there, protect him, and it seems to work. It seemed to work out really well. And Rock loved him because he made Rock laugh. And Christian's got a great sense of humor, smart guy. I see that all the time. He's always serious. He's always very serious, but he's not always that personality. He's normally very serious, as I mentioned, but he is has a great sense of humor, and I think that shows up in his promos.
Christian is going to find himself back in the Intercontinental Division for the rest of the year. He actually wins the title in a battle royal, and then he trades it back and forth with other big stars like Rob Van Dam and Booker T. But it's the story at the end of the year that really, in my opinion, helps elevate Christian. It's when he and Chris Jericho are dating Lita and Trish Stratus in storyline, of course. And it actually leads to a match with the two of them taking on the two women, which is crazy, but that's what happens at Armageddon. And it leads to Christian taking on Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 20. And Trish Stratus is going to turn on Jericho to help Christian defeat him, all at a win at WrestleMania in Madison Square Garden.
Boy, is she beautiful or what?
10 out of 10.
She's a 10, man. When she came in my office back in the day to interview for a job, I got a contact on her through, Carl DeMarco, the King of Canada. And we flew her down. I had never even seen her. Well, I might have seen some stills. I know she played field hockey, which impressed me because that's a tough sport. But when she walked in my office, it damn near took my breath. She's one of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen. She made, she was kind of a Pam Anderson who at that time look. And I just thought, God damn, if we can't make this girl a star, we need to get out of wrestling. And her work ethic was exemplary. So, the point I was about to make was that, and she has gone on to still have a very profitable a career. And she and Lita do great at those autograph signings. Any promoter that wants to draw a crowd, you're going to book those two guys. And I love both of them. They're both really good. They were very important in my run at AEW, or excuse me, there you go. That'll be on the internet at WWE. I love it. But she keeps on going. She keeps on reinventing herself, giving you a new reason to want to come invest in her time and her appearances and so forth. So I love her. She's just a great one. And it's just amazing to me that she has the courage and commitment to change. And if you're a star and you leave your original element, your original orbit, and can become a star in another area, I'm impressed by stuff like that. And that's what she's done.